My loves, I'm just going to do a one card tarot pull to see the implications of this eclipse season for us. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Barista Witch channel. I am your host Misha, and today we are talking about the lunar eclipse that is occurring on September 17th. And this is a partial eclipse, so not a lot of people are going to get into it, but I like to pay attention to eclipse season, whether they are total, partial, whatever it is. An eclipse is happening and it is so imperative that we talk about it. This eclipse will take place September 17th, 2024 at approximately 10:44 p.m. on the East Coast, calculate it for your own time zone. And this eclipse will take place in Pisces, which already Pisces is a sign of the ending of things, and eclipses represent just a huge shift in energy. So a lunar eclipse takes place when the earth passes between the sun and the moon and blocks the sun's light from the moon, and this usually gives the moon this kind of like reddish glow or appearance. It's almost similar to just like hundreds and hundreds of sunsets being put on the moon. And this can only occur during a full moon. So unlike a solar eclipse, which we saw earlier this year in April, that can only be viewed from certain areas on Earth, a lunar eclipse can be seen anywhere on Earth as long as it is nighttime in that region. And the length of time of a total lunar eclipse is significantly longer than a solar eclipse. Solar eclipse only take place for a few minutes because the moon's shadow is so small, whereas a lunar eclipse can take place for up to 2 hours because the shadow of the Earth is so large. And lunar eclipses are totally safe to view without the protection of those special eclipse goggles or glasses, although in my lineage we do recommend that you do not look at eclipses. Eclipses are thought to be like portals in a way for demonic entities, so don't look at them, because if eyes are essentially portals to the soul, it's not necessarily something that you want to do. So in the olden days, when people heavily relied on lunar cycles and solar cycles to know when to plant crops, when they should wake up in the morning to feed their cows, and they follow these specific transits of the sun and the moon. An eclipse was seen as a disturbance of this pattern. They were these rare occurrences where people were like, what the fuck? Can you imagine? Think about that eclipse back in April. You're a farmer in 1222 and you see suddenly the sun is gone and it's nighttime, even though it's, you know, usually midday for you. You'd be like, what the actual perfectly untouched fuck is going on? So the lunar cycle gives order to our life. We measure time, we measure our menstrual cycles. Sailors use the moon in their nautical navigations. The eclipses are seen as these just fucking deep ass disturbances. And it's also quite important to avoid starting something new 3 days before or 3 days after an eclipse. So maybe don't go on any dates, because that might be the start of a relationship. Perhaps don't start a new job, start a new project. This is a time just to legit pause and reflect, turn inward. Meditation practices are super valuable during this time because they allow you to really connect on this really subtle level that usually isn't available without this eclipse energy. So this eclipse will take place in the nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada, which takes place from 20 degrees and 20 minutes of Aquarius, and then slides on over into 3 degrees and 20 minutes of Pisces. And Purva Bhadrapada is a fiery nakshatra. It is a huge placement for transformation, for removing things that no longer serve you. It is insane that the eclipse is taking place in this nakshatra because eclipses inherently are a time of shaking things up. And this is specifically clearing away old things that prevent you from achieving your goals. So it's imperative to know where the eclipse is taking place in your birth chart, because if it's happening, say, in your 7th house of relationships, that could be clearing away some sort of romantic relationship or romantic partnership that may be no longer serving you. And in some lineages, this nakshatra is represented as a two-faced person. So it could mean one of two things. One, being super mindful of someone who is legit two-faced and just not being real with you. If someone came to mind, clock it, write it down, that's probably legit. And it could also represent you showing a different side of yourself to the world, a transformation where you come out of it, just seeing the world in a different light, just wanting to present yourself and show up in a completely different way than people have seen from you before. And Purva Bhadrapada is associated with fire, specifically with lightning. Its deity is a deity named Rudra, who is a storm god, whose weapon of choice is a thunderbolt, which is this sharp, piercing energy that is meant to illuminate, meant to bring enlightenment, and meant to transform. And this is fire and burning in order to cleanse things in your life that no longer serve you, such as habits, relationships, maybe material objects in your life that you're holding on to, and cleaning out your closet, for example. This is a sacrifice. It's meant to elevate yourself so that you can grow. Think about when autumn comes around, literally on the 22nd. Trees don't whine and complain when they have to let something go. They simply let go because it is part of the natural cycle, the natural order of things. And who knows, whatever you release could become compost in a way, like fertile ground for you to have more in your life later on. This is literally you relinquishing your old life and exchanging it for a completely new life. And the fact that an eclipse, which is transformational in and of itself, is taking place in this transformational nakshatra, I had to talk about it. And Purva Bhadrapada, it gives harsh and unexpected experiences that sharply disrupt the flow of life. So again, think of a lightning strike. It could seem harsh, it could seem like, oh fuck, why is this happening to me? But usually in the end, those instances, those circumstances that take place, they usually do serve us in a way that we can sometimes only see in retrospect of wow, breaking up with that person sucked. It hurt, but look at all the lessons that I learned from it. Look at how much better fucking off I am not being with that crusty, dusty, musty. While the eclipse is taking place in Pisces, the moon is in Pisces, Saturn is going to be in Aquarius. But because Purva Bhadrapada spans both Aquarius and Pisces, Saturn will be involved in this eclipse as well, which is incredibly important to discuss because Saturn is an intense planet. It is the disciplinarian. It is the stern, hardworking, karmic-filled planet that when Saturn shows up in your life, you are not meant to cut corners. You are not meant to kind of just let things go to the wayside. Saturn brings up issues in your life that need to be addressed, or else, quite literally, or else. Saturn does not fuck about. Saturn is also known as the keeper of time and doesn't tolerate any shortcuts or laziness to try to just get away with things. Saturn is a planet of hard work. So especially since this nakshatra and this placement is all about burning and cleansing and getting rid of things that no longer serve you, with the influence of Saturn, that will take work. Saturn plays the long game. So Saturn is here to help you build up a bit of a support system, to develop those routines that you need to help you get through this period. And there is this double influence of purging and stripping down with bare bones Saturn as well. So if suddenly you feel inclined to just tear away and change something drastically in your life, that literally is the eclipse talking. So while Saturn can be this strict disciplinarian, it's not in the sense of just rah, 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 rah. It's really meant to help you. It's who knew that going to bed early, drinking a lot of water, going outside, exercising can benefit you. You have to put in the hard work, and it really is this kind of wake-up call of stop making excuses for the circumstances of your life, shy of things being legitimately outside of your control. Really take accountability for the shit in your life that is our own fault, and know that since it is our own fault, we have the power to change it, which is so fucking powerful and beautiful, because the things that are out of our control are literally out of our control. But the things within our control, magic, amazing, beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. It is said that Saturn helps to wake you up to the memory of who you truly are, which, like, that is so beautiful. And with this nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada being this lightning bolt of insight, we might have this kind of aha clarity moment that helps to break through the clouds of ignorance that can really have some karmic implications in our life. And my loves, I'm just gonna do a 1-card tarot pull to see the implications of this eclipse season for us, to see what guidance comes from the divine to help us out. We got the Judgment card, and the Judgment card is when I say you can't make this up, because for those of you who are into tarot, for those of you who are learning about tarot, the Judgment card is literally the wake up call card. And what have we been saying about this eclipse cycle? It is going to call you to wake up to who you truly are. It's going to be that lightning bolt of insight to help clear away and remove any obstacles of what no longer serves you. I literally said you will have an aha moment during this eclipse cycle. This is a card of being vulnerable, a card of being honest with yourself. This is a card of letting go of the past, literally. Like, this is ridiculous. This is a card of having a new phase of your life come into fruition, which is literally symbolic with the eclipse cycle that we're having. This is having a moment of reflection and critiquing our past actions for the benefit of seeing what habits, routines, materialistic objects we have in our lives, negative relationships, what is it that we can remove so that we can move forward into this new phase of our lives. This is literally a card of purging, cleansing, and a spiritual reset. And my lovelies, if you want even more insight of how this eclipse cycle will affect you, head on over to patreon.com/thebaristawitch, where I get into in-depth tarot spreads for all 12 signs as how this eclipse cycle will affect you. And if you like what you just saw, I literally just pulled the Judgment card for the fucking eclipse. I'm gonna get into that whether you are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and so on. And I'm gonna do spreads to see how this eclipse cycle will affect you. It's $5 a month, and you get in-depth readings into how these various transits will affect you with a combination of some tarot and some oracle cards. It's juicy, juicy, juicy. So if you found this video helpful and you've made it to the end, please leave a little trumpet emoji in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it to the end of the video and that you found it helpful. And if you found this video helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell on so you know whenever a new piping hot batch of cosmic tea makes it into your feed. Thank you so much, and I love you, and I'll see you next time.